Are you looking to build a milk stand? Well, my husband and I just built this milk stand ourselves, and what an awesome milk stand. The only thing that I would have changed about building this milk stand is that I would have built it when I first got goats or before I got goats, just to have this. This thing, not only for milking, but for trimming their hooves. What a game changer. Now, when we did hoof trims before this, my husband would be holding the goat and I would be trimming the hooves. And that was always a fight because he'd be trying to hold them still and they're flailing all over and I'm trying to get those hooves trimmed. Not easy. But using this, where their head is in the stanchion and they're eating their grain, you can trim their hooves and it's so simple. They can't go anywhere because their head's locked in. They're busy eating grain and I can do it on my own. I don't need to get help from anyone else, and it's a much quicker process. So definitely, if you're looking into it, definitely get to building. Don't wait until you need it for a milking stanchion because it's works great. My little bucklings, I've tried it with them, but they're not quite able to use it yet because they're still a little short and they can still pop their head through this as it's made for an adult goat. But as soon as those bucklings are big enough, I'll be using that for them as well. It has worked out great for us for hand milking. It also works good for using a milk machine for milking, so I'm really happy with it. My goats are happy to jump up here and stick their head in there. They eat the grain out of the bucket that I hang over on this side. I close their head in and I have a little hook and eye latch that I latch to keep them from opening that up. And then I can trim their hooves or milk them, do whatever I need to do while they're eating their grain. Now there's lots of different do-it-yourself plans on milk stands that you can find online to be able to do. The one that I followed was on hobbyfarms.com for their goat stanchion, and it was really good instructions, really easy to use. I'll link them in the description below. And they have a list of all the cuts you need to make and the hardware you need. It's very concise and I definitely recommend it. I did make the stand legs 21 inches. My goats are Nigerian dwarf goats. They have no problem hopping up here and hopping down. However, you can make it shorter or taller depending on your goat's needs and depending on the height that's going to work best for you for milking purposes or trimming hooves. To build this cost us about $150 to build it. For the most part, we did stick to the Hobby Farms instructions. We deviated a little bit here and there. We did use some things that we already had on hand, like the hook and eye. Also, we had the bolt and we had a couple braces. And then the only thing that we added in addition to the instructions that were provided was we actually put bracing on all 4 of the legs. We found that it was a bit wobbly without any extra bracing, so we did put 4 braces, 1 on each leg underneath here, just for extra stability, because we know with our Nigerian dwarf goats, the way that they jump on and off, this was going to get a lot of wear and tear, and we wanted to make sure that that was nice and sturdy underneath with the legs. So we did put in extra screws and then we did the bracing as well. We've been using it for a month now. I'm so happy with it. It's working out great and the goats seem to like it. And then putting it together, we worked on it for a couple hours one day where we got all of our cuts done first and started to assemble it, and then the second day we worked for 2 more hours and got it done. I would say it probably took maybe 4 or 5 hours total to build this, so it really was a fun project and I really enjoyed building it with my husband and kids. And of course we had to try it out. So we did try it out to make sure that our goats would be comfortable using it. So if you're thinking about building your own milking stand, I personally found it to be less expensive to build our own than it was to buy a nicely made wood stanchion. My husband and I are definitely not professional carpenters by any stretch of the imagination, but we figured it out. If you're going to try to build your own, check out Hobby Farms plans and see if it's the right fit for you and your goats. Oh, and my husband has an 8-foot truck bed, so instead of getting 10-foot boards, we did go with 8-foot boards and just got more of those. So the amount of boards that we got and the sizes are a little different from Hobby Farms sizes and cuts, so you may notice a discrepancy there. It's time in the milking stanchion. Good girl.
Who's our beautiful girl?
If you enjoyed this video, you should check out our goat care playlist. We have lots of goat videos that I think you just might like. And if you haven't started your farm yet, what are you waiting for? Get your farm on.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Do you want a farm? A wicked awesome farm? Watch this channel to learn what to do. We love to farm and we'll show you. Yeah, welcome to our show.